Hey, what's going on, guys? Looks like I'm live here. Okay. Um, yeah, I just wanted to get on and talk a little bit about this week's lecture and homework assignments and my experience so far. And wanted to get into trying to solve homework too a little bit tonight and just do it live for the heck of it. It'd be good to look back on, and maybe some folks will be interested. So here we go. I do want to figure out how to post this link to Twitter while I'm getting started. I don't actually know how to do that. Let's see. And I want to change the name of this too. This is episode 4. And sorry, I should have done all this before I got started. Oh well. Episode 4, live stream, Cardano Plutus Pioneer, week 3, update and homework to attempt. And this might be kind of a long one. I think I have about 2 hours before I'm going to go to bed. I don't know if I'm actually going to solve homework 2. And I've made an attempt at homework 1, and I can't say that I know if I've solved it or not. I've tried to do some tests to figure out if I have a solution, but the way the kind of template of the homework assignment was written, it's hard to know if it worked the way you wanted it to. Because if you write I'll show you, but if you write something that'll just compile, it'll run. It won't give you an error, but it might not be. And I think this is a good lesson, and I feel like Lars probably did this on purpose, but it'll run, but you won't know if it's doing what you want it to do because he wrote the wallet code, which is off-chain code that is done processed before the trend. As far as I understand, I could be getting this wrong. And yeah, I'm a beginner with coding. I'm new to Haskell, so if you're looking for expert experience from an expert, um, you should look somewhere else. I'm just seeing an error here about my streams. Current bitrate is probably lower than recommended, which is surprising. I'm not sure why it's running slow because our internet is supposed to be pretty high speed here. Okay, now it says I got a good connection. All right, so I'll keep going. Oh, here's the link. I want to copy this and put it on Twitter just so um, people can see. Can come on here if they want to. All right, there it goes. Woohoo! I get a little nervous about uh, these live streams, but I'm all alone here, so it doesn't matter. Okay, all right. So what's first? Well, I've got the Discord opened up here. Um, lesson 3, and there's some discussion about what I was talking about the program's just running, whether you really get it right or not. And I'm gonna load up, um, open up my browser here, and you'll kind of see how I'm gonna close some of this stuff. I don't know what exactly is opening up here. Um, go to GitHub. Okay, and I want to go to my repository. I want to take it over here like this. What else do I want to open up? I want to open up the terminal so I get this going every time. Get I'm gonna get the whole yeah, the playground started here. So let's see, and open up. I need 2 more tabs in that directory, so I'll do that now. And I need to sudo nix shell and get that going. And let's see, does it work this way? Yes, I can just do it like that. I press the up arrow, and that brings up the command that I just did previously. So I've got 3 shells starting up, which is exactly what I need. And once they're running, then I'll get into the prospective places. What else do I need to open up? I'm going to Control Alt down arrow. Oh, I'm in a Ubuntu, in case any of y'all are wondering. And I like to use VS Code. It's just something I started using a couple of years ago when I was messing around with Python and Haskell. In 2019, I started trying to learn a bit about programming. I can't say that I ever really got past like maybe started getting into the intermediate realm, messing around with some different things, but I really feel like I'm a beginner overall. Just so much to learn, and I know very little. So here we've got VS Code up and running. Here's my attempt at homework 1 assignment, and I don't know if it's right. I've thought about it quite a bit, and I've tested it, and the when I modify the wallet code down here in the way that I think kind of opens it up for some possible errors in the validation process. It's throwing errors that I don't quite understand. So yeah, anyway. So there's a lot in here that I don't understand yet, especially in this wallet grab. This is the wallet code that is processed off chain. And if you do this right, if your wallet is, if this is programmed correctly, you should never get these trace of false errors and this is where we're really focusing our energy right now, is learning how to write validation. Validation is like, it protects you from bad off-chain wallet code, because the way I understand it is that you can write a smart contract script that exists on the blockchain that people can get access to. There might be ways to hide it. I don't really understand all that yet. There might be ways for people to find scripts that exist that maybe you don't want them to find, or you think are more hidden, and then they might try to get access to it. So in this validation, MK Validator is the security for the script and kind of the where you need things to be done correctly. But out here, this definitely needs to be written properly, but I think anybody can kind of write something to interact with scripts that are on the blockchain. So if something's wrong here, which Lars actually, he intentionally wrote all this down here properly so that it actually doesn't trigger these. Like this wallet is never getting an improper request. So I'll kind of show you here what's going on. Let me see if I can open up the unmodified homework 1. Yeah, so this is the homework 1, and this is basically where we have to do our work, and this is my solution for it. This was the kind of the prompt. This should validate if either beneficiary 1 either beneficiary 1 has signed the transaction and the current slot is before or at the deadline. See, so I think I did something wrong here because it says either beneficiary 1. So perhaps this should not be check sig 1 or sig 2. Because when we take in it's like when here, I'm going to see if I can get the rest of this up and running and see if I can talk about it and make sense of it for myself. It sort of helps to talk about this stuff out loud. Let's see. All right, what am I doing? I am going here. Plutus Playground server. Ah, yes. I didn't CD first. That's why it didn't work. Oh, that's bringing up stuff from way back. All right. Let's see. Okay, interpreter's ready, so now I can do npm run start. And that's going to boot up the playground. I'll be able to open it in the browser. And here I like to do, okay, so I'm already in Nix shell. Code week 3, and then do the cabal RP. All right, so get that going. And that's not quite ready. Successfully created modules. Hey, you have to go to bed.
Yeah, I can count to 900 and mine.
Great, go lay down. It's time to go to sleep.
I've already gotten to 900.
Well, looks like my stream quality is down again. All right. So that's still building that up for the playground. Now, if you, this is your first time seeing this, you can go and you want to try to follow along or whatever. I have a repository on GitHub with steps for getting all this up and running, and what VS Code I'm using, and the extensions for Haskell in there. So you can check that out if you want to. And I'm making, sorry, I keep saying I'm making entries for each week, taking notes while following along with Lars's video. These are some notes that I was taking with references to different different libraries that are used in this, and maybe I'll get into it while I'm looking at homework 1. Homework 1's a reference on there. How to get a public key hash. He talks about this, and we need it to run these on the. And this was some of the tests we were doing. We were learning about intervals, time intervals, and how to build those up with the built-in libraries, the helper functions that are included in Plutus. Looks like it's ready. See if I can get into that. Okay, so we're in the playground now. And I'm just going to plot my code in for homework 1. And compile it. We'll see if it compiles. So it has compiled, and I want to try something here. I don't know if this might be. This should validate if either beneficiary 1 has signed the transaction, current SLA being for deadline. So when a wallet makes a request to the script, as the wallet that's requesting, it's identified as beneficiary 1, I believe. Let me look on Discord and see if I'm understanding this. Nope. Where is it? Where's Discord? It's my bedtime. Throw this down here. Okay. Let's look at lesson 3. Saw Lars in here, I think. Yeah, Lars. Yeah, he's talking about on-chain difference between on-chain and off-chain validation, and why it's important um, to have the validation, even if your wallet code is written perfectly. If the wallet code's not written perfectly, it's a problem, and you need the on-chain validation to recognize that. Um, I'm trying to find the I forget where it was where he was talking about the uh, what beneficiary is which here. But anyway, and then beneficiary 2, I believe, is the one who's receiving, who's trying to receive the gift. Is that correct? Beneficiary. So now is greater than deadline. Beneficiary 2 is trying to request. So beneficiary 2, if for beneficiary 2, if it's past, if now is past the end of the deadline, they can grab the UTXO. So beneficiary 2 must be the beginner, or the giver, because when they make this, the idea of this program is, or this script is that the giver puts up an amount that they can give, and they give a deadline, and up until that deadline, the receiver with the correct public key hash can grab that gift. But if they wait too long and the deadline passes, then the wallet who gave it can then get it back. So I think this is written properly. So whatever wallet's trying to make the grab request, before the deadline has passed, it should be checking beneficiary 1, because that's the gift recipient. And then after the deadline passes, it wants to check and see if it is beneficiary 2. So this should validate if either beneficiary 1 has signed the transaction and the current slot is before or at the deadline. So we did check deadline here. This is kind of boilerplate as far as I understand it, and I didn't have to change a whole lot here. And then this check sig 1 is checking the public key hash of beneficiary 1 to see if it is included in the list of public key hashes. And this check sig 2 is checking the beneficiary 2, which is the giver, to see if they're in the list of public key hashes to receive. Check deadline. This 2 deadline is, and I can show you this. This is pretty cool. I just got to remember where it's at. Week 3 notes. Yeah, you can go week 3 notes here. Interval definition. It's defined in this interval for instances 2. 2 is an interval lower bound of negative infinity, including negative infinity. So it begins at negative infinity and goes to an upper bound of s, and s is whatever slot value you put in, and it would be the slot of now. Or no, not necessarily. It would be the deadline. And so you can see that deadline, and that's a value that we input. So the deadline of this make validator of this vesting datum type, the deadline, and the type is called dat when it's received. And you can see that here is where it's defined as dat. I got it. Oof. More bad news in the United States of America. Anyway, so deadline dat contains, okay, so that's checking if it's in the list of valid after deadline. So this was kind of a custom thing I had to do because there is no, at least I couldn't find one. There's no, there's this, there's 2, which is from negative infinity to the deadline, and then there's from, which is from the deadline to positive infinity, including infinity, and it's built off of this lower bound function. And you look up here at lower bound, and lower bound is a finite number. It includes a finite number, and that number is deadline. And it includes that number deadline. But in this, we don't want it to include the deadline because the gift recipient has the deadline for the gift recipient to take the gift goes up until and including the deadline, and then the time after that does not include the deadline. So there's this strict, what we're looking for here is the strict lower bound, because it's the same as lower bound, except it does not actually include a, which is our deadline. So this is what we need. So we had to build a, at least that's how I understood it, we had to build a custom one because there isn't actually a strict, I guess it could be called strict from. There could be another helper function defined in here called strict from, which would use strict lower bound instead of lower bound. That's basically copied this this part here and pasted it in. Right here it is. Wait. Yeah, pasted it in here, and but I changed it to strict lower bound instead of lower bound. And that seemed to work the way I wanted it to. And then I didn't change anything else at this point until I wanted to try to test the code. And what I ended up changing was down here to see if I have my time interval figured out properly. I'll compile this again, we'll simulate it and see how it goes. Oh, I guess the link I put on Twitter isn't actually a useful link. I don't know how to, I'll have to figure that out. Where do I get the link to put on Twitter so that people can come see this thing if they wanted to? Anyway, I'll have to figure that out later. Didn't work. All right. Okay, so compiled, I'll simulate it. We'll do 1,000. This wallet starts out with 1,000. That wallet starts out with 1,000. Maybe we'll add some random wallet who's not even going to be named. And we definitely need to add a wait action. So we'll wait for 1 block. Then we'll add a give action. We'll add a give action from wallet 2. Now to get these public key hashes, we have to jump back over to our REPL. And I made notes of this process in here so I can reference it. Repositories. Plutus Pioneer's notes. Week 3. Nope, that's not it. What was it? I named it something smart. How to get the public key. Okay. So we're already in the next shell. We started the Cabal REPL. And we need to import, not import. I'm going to change that now while I'm looking at it. Import. Import wallet emulator. Import ledger. And then we do this. No, that's good. Okay, I'll just copy and paste this. Control Shift V. Change it to 1. And then change it to 2. So now I've got both my keys here. And so for this string, we're putting in the public key hash of the receiver. So wallet 1 is going to be giving to wallet 2. Copy that. And, oh, nope, I did it backwards again. Wallet 1 is giving to wallet 2. Okay, and wallet 2 is giving to wallet 1, so we'll copy wallet 1. And the deadline, 10, 5. And the amount, say 500 and 500. Okay, so then we need to add another wait action, and we'll wait until block 6. And at the 6th block, wallet 2 is eligible to grab the gift from wallet 1 and to grab back the gift that it gave to wallet 1, because say wallet 1 didn't grab it yet for whatever reason. And this is, well, we delete this, and this is pretty much the example that Lars gave exactly. I think. And then we'll evaluate it. Oh wait, we need to add the grab. So we'll add a grab here, and then we'll add another wait. Because it actually won't, it's not until the next slot that the transaction is like published and that we can see it. Okay. So it basically worked here. And wallet 2 was able to grab both of the UTXOs, both of the UTXOs that were in both scripts. And in this scenario, both the scripts have the same address, which in homework 2 that changes. It gets more. It seems a lot more complicated to me, and I haven't attempted homework 2 yet, and maybe I'll get a chance to try it tonight. I really need to because the next lecture comes out tomorrow. But all right, so wallet 2 got both the grabs. Now let's see how we can change this to what I really want to do is change it so we'll actually get an error, but I'm going to simulate it with this trying to grab before it can actually, grab its own, and we'll change this to 4. This will be how, oops, 14. This will be how, because the wallet 2 will not be able to grab this UTXO, but it will be able to grab that UTXO. So let's see what happens. And this is the thing here is that what I was seeing on Discord was there's a lot of there might be several students out there who wrote something, and I could be one of them, that actually isn't correct, and they would go through this and it would work properly, and they wouldn't see like any errors throwing. And here's something where this became apparent to me is that I did something where I knew the wallet would not be able to do what it was trying to do as far as grabbing from its own gift before it was able to, but there's no error that comes up. The wallet code, off-chain code, just found that one gift is available to grab, and it grabbed it, but there's no error, and the transaction was validated. The wallet didn't even allow, because it knew that the UTXO, and I'll show you where I think this is in the code, but obviously I don't understand all of it yet. But right in here, this is where it's looking at the UTXOs. It's looking for the UTXOs for beneficiary 1. Beneficiary 1 is the person who can receive the gift, or the wallet is probably a better way to say it. The wallet that can receive the gift. It's filtering the list of UTXOs, as I understand is what's happening there, and it's looking for ones that are suitable. I don't quite understand this part, but it's looking for the beneficiary 1 field within the DAT. Oh shoot, what did I just do? Where the public key hash is equal to, what would it be equal to? Oh, where the public key hash of that script is equal to the public key hash of the beneficiary of the wallet issuing that transaction, that grab request. And the time now is less than or equal to the deadline, so before the deadline has been reached. So what I thought is, what if I delete that? Then what happens? Will it compile? No, why not? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So that worked. Oh, I lost my setup here though. I can do it again real quick. 1,000. 1,000. One. Add a give. Add a give. Deadline 10. 5. 500. Oh, I just realized I didn't make this big enough for anybody to read. Sorry about that. Oops, wrong one. And we're going to put the wallet 2 public key hash in there. I got messed up. I didn't actually copy the one I wanted to do. All right, so wallet 2 public key hash. Copy. Control V, wallet 1 public key hash. Copy. Control V. Gonna add a wait action. We're gonna wait until we'll try block 4 again because I want to try something that'll throw an error. And add another wait action. 1 block. Oops, no, I want to add a grab from wallet 2 and add another wait action of 1 block. And evaluate. So we should get, we're going to get an error, but the errors might not make sense because that's what was happening to me earlier is with the code that I wrote. It's getting errors and they weren't making sense. So I don't think I had it right. Maybe I have it right now. I don't know. So this is kind of making a little more sense to me. And we'll look at the code and see. So you had the Genesis block, coins were given to each wallet. You have the scripts written. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Yeah. Well, anyway, the scripts go live. They're minted. Maybe that's the word. I'm not sure. And there's a fee to do that. So now they're live. And then in slot 4, before its own gift has expired, while or the own deadline has passed, wallet 2 tries to grab. Because the code is not in the built it because I deleted the code in the wallet that was checking deadlines. The wallet thinks there are two UTXOs that are available, which there aren't supposed to be. There's just supposed to be one at this point. So it passes along to the validator that, hey, you can grab these 2 UTXOs, and the validator, because it's checking to make sure that there's the right signatures and it's before or after the deadline or whatever, says, hey, wait a second, the deadline has not yet passed. And it also says we need a beneficiary signature to proceed. So it's missing basically the wallet that's requesting it does not have the proper signature to pull that gift that's there. So it seems to me like this is the way to do it. I can also try to delete the line of code that's actually checking the public key hash, but I'm having a harder time figuring out which part I can delete and which part I can't. And I can compare, I'll show you what I was doing. I was comparing this vesting. It's kind of the is the example that, sorry, I keep saying them. The example that Lars went through, and here's the notes I took. And actually, all these notes, this is something I wanted to say earlier, is that I went through and took notes along with a video. Here's a link to Lars's video, and this portion where he's just explaining this vesting code, which I put on my repository. We have, I thought I put it up here. No, I didn't. I will put it up there. Yeah, I'll do it right now. But anyway, yeah, let's just copy and paste it. So I wanted to share the notes that I took. Add a file, create a new file. We'll say vesting notes .hs. And I'll just paste it and I'll save it. Okay. So now if you want to check out these notes, they're up here. And it's all the commented stuff, but I put a link to the video where he starts explaining this code at, and I just took notes and time-stamped it when he started talking about different stuff. So it's kind of helpful for me as a reference, and maybe it'll be helpful for somebody else too. But I'm going to look at what I saw here as what led me to delete this portion of his wallet code to try to test the validator to make sure it was working properly. Now I gotta find it. Just give me a second. Grab, it's in the grab. And it's checking the UTXOs here, and it's filtering again. It's very similar, except this is just only checking UTXOs for one public key hash and is suitable. I wonder where is suitable is defined. It's not defined in this program. It's a external library. I don't know where that's defined. He may have told us and I've forgotten. Anyway, so it's checking the public key hash and the time is now. And it's written slightly different in that it so this filter is using this, is applying this function to this list of addresses. Okay, so this filter is applying, all right. I think that's the right way to look at that. And if anybody ever watches this who has comments, I'd be super happy to read, especially if you're like, hey, that's not quite the right way to think about that. It's more like this. That would be super cool. I'm definitely in this to learn and love to hear feedback from anybody who actually hangs out for 43 minutes while I ramble incoherently. But anyway, this is sort of fun. And this actually helps me a lot to talk about this stuff, to look through it again and talk about it. I'm understanding things more. I don't know if it's helping anybody else, but it's definitely helping me. How's this mic sound anyway? I tried to get this thing sounding a little bit better. I know it was super quiet before, and I feel like I'm getting closer to decent sounding audio. And this is probably super small, like nobody can read that. I'm gonna make that bigger. I like it kind of smaller so I can see more when I'm doing this. And it's in if you're new to VS Code and you want to change the text size, you can File, Preferences, Settings. It'll pop up a little window here, and then you can change the text size pretty easily. And it updates it automatically. And then it's just a little tab here that you close for settings. And you can change, you can customize this thing like crazy. I haven't messed with it at all. I don't know. All right, so we're looking at this, and this part here it says UTXOs at source address, and when you look at it over here, it's like, wait, that's not the same thing. That's looking at UTXOs. This is applying this function to UTXO O's, which is a list, but this is UTXO's at source addresses, but actually it was done a little bit differently here where UTXO's is defined as that. So it's actually the same thing. It's just kind of simplified for the code because this shows up way more. Well, I don't know if it shows up more than twice in there. It's definitely easier to read. It looks a lot nicer. Nicer looking for sure. So anyway, I figured I could delete this, and I thought I could delete that too, and I tried to rework this and make it look more like this over here. So it was, this is kind of bare bones. This definitely allows error, or can't say definitely allows errors to pass through. I didn't test this one, so I don't know if this allows trace if falses to show up. But taking this out does, and I think I've explained that to you thoroughly enough. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sorry. So now we get trace if false errors. How can we simulate this differently to check some other stuff? What if, okay, so what if wallet 2 tries to grab wallet 2 tried to grab at slot 4. So it couldn't get its own there. What if we wait until slot 6? And I wonder if wallet 1 can grab at slot 6. I don't know if it, I actually don't understand it well enough to know if the gift receiver can grab after the deadline or if it loses ability. Add another wait action. We'll see what happens. What I do definitely want to test here, and am I doing it right now? Yeah, I want to know if wallet 2 can grab its so this is kicking both errors, and this is wallet 1. This is wallet 1 trying to grab one gift at slot 6, and that gift is the one that that gift would be the one that wallet 2 put up, but the deadline is passed. Let's see. And it's saying the deadline has not yet been reached. The beneficiary has not signed the transaction. And this is the check sig 2. And I want to change. I think I did change this at one point. Now it's back. The beneficiaries. We need the beneficiary signature. Where are we? Let me zoom in here. Okay, so the deadline has not yet been reached. The deadline has not yet been reached. This is a check deadline, and I changed this. This is the check deadline, so this is looking to see if the deadline has not yet been reached. So this is within the first, and then it's also checking we need a beneficiary signature to proceed. That's this error here, so that's saying you're not beneficiary 1. Yeah, I don't quite understand this. These error codes that's throwing, I don't quite understand. It is stopping the transaction, and it should, but I'm not sure if the right error codes are being triggered. I'm going to return to the editor, make this a little bit more readable. We'll just say check sig 1 failed. Or we could say, what would we say? Beneficiary 1 PKH. We'll say that. That sort of makes sense, I think. Oops. I don't want to have all that in there. And we say the deadline has not yet been reached. That makes sense. And we'll say not beneficiary to PKH. So it compiled successfully. I want to copy this and replace my code. And I have the original, so I can fix things if I need to. So this has that check taken out. This is updated. Okay. And we'll run a test on it and see what happens. Simulate. Evaluate. All right. Deadline has not yet been reached. Not beneficiary 2 PKH, not beneficiary 1 PKH. So that's, see, it's interesting to me that it's throwing this code. Why would it be doing that for that one gift? I know that. Yeah, I don't understand why it's throwing that one. So that's what makes me think I have an error in what I've written, even though it is stopping it in the way it should for that one. Let's return to the editor. Oh wait, let's go back to the simulation, and I wanna wait till the 11th. I want to wait till the 11th. At the 11th, it should still not be able to grab, right? Because that's still up to the deadline, and it shouldn't be able to grab it back until after the deadline has passed. So let's try. It's going to try to keep grabbing until he gets it. See what happens. So, yep, tried to grab at 6, then it went to 11. You know, I didn't add a wait action in after that. Go back and add a wait action. Where am I? Simulate, wait, add a wait action for 1. Because you always have to add a wait after you do something, because it won't publish it until basically until the slot's over. It's not over till the next one starts, I think. Okay, so yeah, sweet. It's kicked it off again, which makes sense. Again, I don't understand why it's throwing that one. I know it's checking the signature for wallet 1, and it's not signed for that UTXO. It's not available. I guess it's not available for that one, even if it is signed. It's definitely not beneficiary 2. Or wait, it does have the beneficiary 2 signature, but the time has not been reached. But for some reason it's saying it does not have it, even though it does. And this makes yeah, I don't quite understand it yet. Sorry. We'll go back and we'll simulate again, and we're gonna wait. What block are we at now? Are we at? We should be at the. Wait until the 11th wait or one more. We should be able to grab now. Try to grab again. And we'll add another wait action for one and evaluate. And now, hopefully this works. So wallet, if this does work, wallet 1 will have 990 ADA, and wallet 2 will have 990 ADA at the end, which I don't think it worked. Slot 12, yeah. So I did not do something right here. So found one gift, but it's saying that the deadline has not been reached yet, but it has. So I did something wrong for sure. What did I do wrong? So I'm going to clean this up a bit and see. So I guess this is just making the point that somebody could write the code for this and it would compile and it would look good, but it's actually not good. And if you dig in deeper, you see that it's not good. And I'm interested to see on this one. I don't think my solution's right. I'm interested to see what the working solutions are. I'm gonna have to, I think, learn from my mistakes on this one and try to keep moving forward and building on it. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to finish this course with some understanding of what's going on and be able to graduate. But either way, I'm learning a lot, and this is super valuable as far as understanding how UTXOs and extended UTXOs works and smart contracts. And I mean, just in 3 weeks, I feel like I've increased my knowledge about how this all works, or my understanding of it, like things that were just a big mystery to me. I have at least a vague understanding of it at this point. All right, now we're going to try to do, try to do the one that's supposed to work, which is add a wait action until 6. And we'll add a wallet to grab, and you should be able to grab both of them. And we'll add another wait, evaluate. So something happens here that I don't understand. In that, and I want to try it with wallet 1. What would wallet 1 need? I'll try to grab wallet. Maybe I'll try to grab wallet 1 at 4 and see if that works, because that's before its deadline. And then try wallet 5 to grab at 6 immediately afterwards and see what happens. But something happens when a transaction triggers the trace if false, then like it doesn't work right afterwards, and I don't know why. So that worked the way it was supposed to. The validator validated that transaction. It met the criteria, even without the wallet validating it. So what we're going to try now is we're going to wait till 4, not 14, 4. Wallet 1 is going to grab. So it should be able to get this gift that Wallet 2 made for it. Make sure. 21F. Yeah, that's the right public key. Grabbing at 4. And then we'll add a wait until 6. Then Wallet 2 will grab. So it should be able to get the gift that Wallet 1 put up for it. So this is probably more accurate of how this would work if in reality like Wallet 1 would try to grab it before the deadline, and Wallet 6 would grab it as well before its deadline, and both would get the gifts if they knew about them and evaluate. Okay, and they were both able to pull the gifts in the end, which is interesting. It did throw, an error, and it threw the error that I would expect it to at that point. Let's see. Yeah, because it could, and it wasn't. The deadline has not yet passed, and it wasn't. It wasn't beneficiary 1, the receiver. He was beneficiary 2, but the deadline has to pass for beneficiary 2 to work. So that makes sense to me. I understand that. And then it worked later. So I don't understand what I'm doing that breaks it and why. Because in that one scenario, it does break it, and it seems to be we can add in Wallet 3 here and see what happens. That'll be an interesting little experiment. We'll add a Wallet 3 that tries to grab sometime. When can Wallet 3 grab? We'll say, oh, can we move stuff around in here? Yeah, we can. That's cool. Okay. So we can add a Wallet 3 grab, and we'll do it like immediately. But we'll add a wait action. We'll add a wait action, just 1. Right after they post the gifts, we got a Wallet 3 trying to come in and grab, but this Wallet 3's got doesn't have a key that matches any of those gifts, so we shouldn't be able to grab any of them, and it should throw an error. But then if it's working correctly, these guys should be able to pick up their gifts just like they did before. Unless I tweaked something wrong here. Oh, I don't have a wait action, so it's probably not going to work. Let me go back. Simulate. Where's my wait action? We've got they publish the gifts. Wait for 1. Wait for 1 block. Wallet 3 tries to grab. Wait until slot 4. We'll do wait until, because I think the block thing might, I'm not sure, I don't quite understand why that says block and slots. I think they're 2 different measurements of time. If that's even the right way to think about it. So I'll wait until slot 2. Try to grab. Then we'll wait until slot 4. Wallet 1 will grab the gift that it can get. Then we'll wait until slot 6. Wallet 2 will grab the gift that it can get. And then we'll wait for 1 block and evaluate. All right, so that all worked the way I think I would expect it to. wallet. See where wallet 3 is. Contacts as well. 0 gifts found for that wallet because it didn't match the um, it didn't match any of the keys, which is still built into the code. So the wallet code itself blocked it. It didn't even get to the validator, which makes sense. And when wallet 1 tried to grab, it couldn't grab yeah, there were 2 gifts found, but one of them wasn't a gift that it could grab. It was the gift that's for wallet 2, and the deadline hadn't passed yet, so wallet 1 couldn't grab it back, and then before the deadline passed, wallet 2 grabbed it. So that worked. I feel like I understand all that, why it happened, it all makes sense to me. But because there's this one error, there's this way that I'm breaking it and I don't understand, to where after this thing happens, then the funds aren't, like, they're not accessible even to the key that's supposed to receive it. Let's see if I can make that happen again. It'd be really cool to see if anybody knows why that is. And maybe it's probably in Discord. I'm sure somebody else has already come across this. I'm like actually trying not to read a whole lot in Discord because I want to try to learn some of this stuff for myself without getting too many hints. And sometimes you can accidentally get some hints that you don't want when reading through there. I'm a little bit anxious about trying to do homework too. Maybe I'm procrastinating here, but I do want to try to break this again. How did I break it? So everything's kind of working right. I could get in here and try to figure out how to turn off the PKH, and maybe I just do this. I can try this and see if it, because then it'll check if it's a suitable PKH. So wallet 3 still shouldn't even get through, and maybe taking out this whole map filter thing and just saying that, hey, just try to grab the UTXOs, just send them to it's just like UTXOs equal UTXOs, like all UTXOs. Don't filter out the ones that match the public key hash. Don't filter out any of that stuff. Like maybe this would do it. Let's go see what happens. Because what I want is wallet 3 to try to grab, and I want it to go to the validator. I want the validator to say no way. And that would kind of, that would show me that I'm close at least. So this is already set up that way. And evaluate. I still have to do homework 2. Man, I've been on this just talking about homework 1 for 2 hours. I feel like I didn't really understand it or finish it, so it's good to rehash it. That's something. What happened here? Four gifts to grab. Wow, 4. Okay, because yeah, no, because all you got a UTXO. Wow. Okay. And it kind of broke it. So it's not. Oh, I don't know exactly what I did. Let me look back at this and see. So we're waiting. We'll say wait until slot 2. Wait until slot 2. Oh wait. Wait for 1 block. That's fine. And then we'll wait until slot 2, wallet 3 tries to grab, wait until slot 4, wallet 1 tries to grab, wait until slot 6, wallet 2 tries to grab. So yeah, that kind of breaks it, taking that out of the wallet code, which I don't quite understand yet. He hasn't explained that to us yet. I'm just messing around with it. Taking that out of the wallet code doesn't allow any of these. It does say there are 4 gifts available, which makes sense because it's looking at all of them. The validation fails for wallet 3, which it should because it doesn't match. And wallet 1 found 4 gifts. It should be able to grab one of them, right? Validation failed. Deadline is not passed. Not beneficiary 1. The deadline has not yet been reached. Not beneficiary 2. Not beneficiary 1. But it can't grab anything out of the script, but I think it would be able to grab, should be able to grab one of the UTXOs, right? The one that it grabbed before I deleted that filter. So something's not quite right with my code, and I don't know what it is because I feel like it should be able to. I feel like it should be able to grab it. Validator should let it go through. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I'm definitely learning something. I'm not really getting to the point before the next lecture where I want to be comfortable. I would like to understand why this is happening. I would like to be able to fix this so it can pull those even without that filter turned on me. If I look at this, I'll have a yeah, I really don't understand this part of it. I don't understand this part of the code. I mean, I know it's saying look at the data in this field and see if it's equal to the public key hash. And the public key hash is the beneficiary 2, right? It's the own. That's checking the okay. So this is the give. So this is different. This is in the grab. Public key hash is defined as the public key of the wallet trying to grab. So it's checking to see if the public key hash of the grabber matches beneficiary 1, which is the receiving address. Maybe, I wonder if let me see, I'll copy this. I think I might have broke it too much. Because, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I wonder if I could look back in an older homework that started using this. Homework 1 did start using this sort of thing in the wallet. It's grabbing and it's looking at UTXOs. But it's not filtering. I wonder if I can just do that, UTXOs. Because that passes. So I think maybe we'll do is suitable PKH. See if that doesn't completely break it. Let's see, is suitable PKH. I'm starting to get lost, getting tired. Where am I? I'm in the grab, and I deleted a bunch of stuff so it doesn't look the same. I'm looking for UTXOs. There we go. There's a lot of stuff missing, and I don't know what the code is. I'm going to copy and paste. I copy and paste it all back. Copy. Control V, paste. So I want to try deleting all that is suitable PKH. Because so maybe it was looking at, it didn't even know what it was supposed to be looking at there. Or maybe it was passing too much to the, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll just try it. No, why not? Couldn't match expected type vesting datum bool with actual type pub key hash. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I think I did what I wanted to do as far as I don't understand how this is working. Yeah, it makes me understand a little more, I guess. So it's a bummer. I feel like I don't have it figured out, but I'm gonna move on and see what we can do with homework too, because I'm getting tired and I'm really doubting that I'll be able to make much headway on it, but we'll see. So here's homework 2. Oops, cancel. Homework 2, and we're going to be looking and comparing it to this parameterized version that I did watch. It starts at 15 seconds on Lars's video, and took some notes about it. And it's changing, what it changes the validator so that it actually has 4 inputs instead of 3. But the validator type can only take 3, so it's tweaking the validator type, which some of the other stuff down here really doesn't like that, and we have to change some things. So what is the goal with homework 2? I don't really know what the goal is yet. Fixing me, implement me. See if I can start somewhere that's a little bit easier. Validator, vesting, at vesting. Let's see. This must change here because the type MK validator has changed. MK vesting turned into vesting param. Or it receives a vesting, right? It receives a vesting param. Need to add P for the vesting param. Data vesting. Data vesting slot. The datum's a slot. And the redeemers. I think this must be a slot. And yeah, it says it there. And this must be. Just do this piece by piece. A lot of this stuff is just like one little piece at a time. And script context. I want to call it CTX, but I don't know if that's defined any. It hasn't been defined yet. I would define it, I guess. CTX, where is that? Info script context, CTX. Is it defined anywhere else? No, it's only in there twice. Okay, so I name it CTX and then info, but I have to say that I am just basically copy and pasting that. I have forgotten what I need to know about that script context. I could go back and look at it, but I'm not going to do that right now. That's going to be a public key hash. I'm guessing this vesting param Plutus TX make lift vesting param. That all comes data vesting param. Public key hash. Which is that already inlineable? Beneficiary public key hash. It's PKH already defined in here. And would that cause a problem? I'm not sure. I could just call it P, just like it was in the other one. Might make it easier. But it's not a capital P, it's a lowercase p. And I don't think I want to name that stuff with capital P's anyway. All right. And the slot. I don't want to call that slot, do I? Call it lowercase slot. Oh, that's interesting. So that's the same. Public key hash, ledger address dot validator. Public key hash instance undefined. Yeah, that's like confusing me a bit. And I'm gonna say inst p. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing this right. Script dot validator at vesting. Yeah, I'm kind of hung up. I know I don't understand this stuff, and I just want to. I'm wanting to copy and paste it, but it just doesn't seem right. It's like that doesn't seem like that should work for this different type. Like this is taking a public key hash and returning a validator, and it's a, is this applying this function to inst? Is this the like the input there? Yeah, I'm too new to Haskell to really understand what's going on. I tried to actually I tried to find this, um, what this means, this period here in this format in Haskell, and I couldn't find it in. I couldn't find it in Learn You. What did he say? He said compose. It was called compose when he did that, when Lars did it. And point characters on page 120 and Learn You a Haskell. And I can bring it up here and see if I'll look and see if it's relevant. So I guess you get to see the real process here for me, which is trying things, staring at the screen for 10 minutes, looking something up, reading. I'm super slow at this, and there's a lot of just like thinking or questioning. For me, it's a lot of just like questioning myself, wondering why am I doing what I'm doing on like not like in a big sense like why am I even doing this, but like why am I pasting this here? I don't know why I'm pasting it there because it's here, but I don't know what this does, and I don't understand this code. I don't know if this needs it, you know. It's taking this thing is taking vesting param, which is just a um, sort of an arbitrary thing. I don't even know what type vesting param is. What type is it? It is vesting. Vesting param is the type, but what is that more deeply? Vesting param equals vesting param. Okay, so this is the type. It has it has two fields: a beneficiary, which is a public key hash, and a deadline, which is a slot. Okay, and that gets thrown in. So instead of throwing this custom type with two fields, we're gonna throw just including a public key hash, we're just going to throw the public key hash into this slot. So it's almost like less complicated than the one he showed us. So let's see. Let me see if I can break this down. I feel like I'm making a little bit of headway here in understanding what's going on and how things are working. So this is still all needs to be defined, and this is probably going to be the same. So why don't I throw that in there? I feel pretty good about that being the same. And I don't actually know what am I checking here. I don't really have a goal other than to get it to compile, which I don't think is which if it does compile, that's great, but it doesn't mean it's actually doing what you want it to do. That's the thing, like you don't, and maybe that's really the lesson in this whole week is it might compile, but that doesn't mean it did what you wanted it to do. It means you wrote the code well enough for the computer to say, okay, this is possible. It's possible for me to do what you're asking me to do. But do you really know what you're asking me to do? You really want me to do that? I don't know, do I? I don't know what I'm asking you to do. So that's a good lesson in understanding that there can still be mistakes. There can still be vulnerabilities. Am I reading this correctly? Is there a little dot in there? No. Okay. CTX. And sure, let's check the SIG. Because we are getting a public key hash, right? So we don't need to say beneficiary P. We just need to say check SIG P because that is the public key hash. Okay. Nope. Nope. Just P. P, LM, TX, info, signatories, info. This is in the context. I copied this over so I could look at it. Yeah, here it is. This is defined in the context of. So here's TX info signatories, public key hash. This is the transaction info. This is generated when the transaction is created. It's metadata that's automatically collected, including what slots are in the valid range. I think I'm understanding this correctly. Transaction context, including the public key hash of the wallet that is initiating the transaction. So that's what this is looking at here. Where was I? Homework 2, yep. No, that's not where I was. So TX info signatories info. Where is info? Info. So TX info is defined as script context. TX info CTX. CTX is the script context. And we look over here and that's not what no, that's not right. Script context, CTX info. Contexts. Data script context. Okay, yeah. Okay. Script context. TX info. Okay, so I don't quite understand this formatting, but saying data script context is script context. And is that the curly brackets or curly braces are throwing me off a little in this? Okay, it's the same as this. It's just a different format. Saying there's two fields within script context. One is script context info, and it contains and it is tx info. So that's like so it contains this, which is of this type, which has all these fields, and then it also contains this purpose, which is this type, which contains, which is it can be one of four things. The purpose can be one of four things. And Lars talked about all this. I'm just trying to, me saying it out loud is actually helping me understand it. You're just along for the ride. I feel like my wife's got homework tonight too. She's reading. She's got to text me when she's ready for bed. That's when I sign off, whether I get this or not. So script purpose can be one of four things, and that's recorded here in the script context. So it can be minting, spending, rewarding, or certifying. And that's stored as a field in here, one of those four things. So back here, our info, it's being defined as the script context info of the CTX, which is a script context type. And then so we're checking check sig is a public key hash, and it's looking to see if it's an element within this field within info, and that field within info, tx info signatories, tf signatories, that field is a public key hash. It says signatures provided with the transaction attested that they all sign the transaction. So it's a list of public key hashes, and these brackets designate that it is a list. At least I think so. And this is actually tx info data is a list of tuples that contain datum hash and the datum. And it can be many of those. So okay, makes sense. Okay. So we're checking to see if that public key is an element within the list of public keys. All right. And slot, that's just the day. That's the datum, and it's just a whatever in this case. And I guess that could be the deadline. I don't know if that's the purpose of this. Current slot. See the grab. Is suitable now on public key. Current slot is now. I don't understand all this stuff yet. Hopefully someday I will. OREFs must validate from now. I'm just trying to get a sense of what the purpose of that slot is. Give grab are the endpoints. Just D now from data. TX out, TX 0. Oh, look, it's a context thing. No, it's not. So D is deadline. So that kind of, it would make sense, I think, that the datum would be the deadline. In this scenario, the datum contained the deadline. It was actually this vesting datum that included public key hashes and a slot type. But in this one, we're separating out the public key hash from the slot into two different variables. And what that does is it allows, so the problem that we were seeing in homework 1 was that each, and maybe this is, I don't know, would this possibly be what was causing those errors? I don't know. But the scripts had the same address because their public key hash is generated. How is the public key hash generated? He explained this to me, or to us in the video. In like lesson 1 or lesson 2, and it's an important thing to understand is how that public key hash is generated. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. Might be in my notes. So I started looking at that the composed with the period thing and got way off track 20 minutes ago. This is a long live stream. We're at an hour and 42 minutes here. And no one has joined. That's perfectly fine. Maybe someday I'll actually have company in here, which would be interesting. I wouldn't really be able to chat like a whole lot. It's kind of nice not to have to think about editing all this, and it just is what it is. A little bit more transparent, a little bit more real. You can see how I get off on tangents and forget what I was doing. I wanted to go back and look at notes from the previous week to see if I wrote down how the public key hashes are actually formed, how they're generated. And he did show us. But I don't think I actually took notes on it very well for that one. I think it's probably in the very first video. I definitely need to go back and look at that, and I don't need to do that while you're here or while I'm recording a video. Nobody's here with me. But hey, maybe you're watching it later. And if you've actually hung out this long, you should probably think about subscribing for sure. And you should turn on the alarm because you'll get notified when I do this again. And you could hang out here with me if you're not busy, which would be great. And if you actually like this, that's awesome. Please give a thumbs up and give some comments. If you have some input, some feedback, I'd love to hear it. And I'll try to stop saying as much. I'm conscious of that sometimes. I forget what I wanted to dig for. I wanted to understand how the public key hash is generated. And how and where. And it's generated in this. It would make sense that it were generated in the context. TX info signatories. Public key output. So anyway, I got on that because I was talking about how it's a problem that the public keys are the same. So when you separate it out like this, it it puts the public key in a different variable that's not, as far as I understand it, it's not actually um, it's not calculated in the same way, or it doesn't pull from the same set of data to generate that hash. Like it's a I definitely need to understand it more. Me trying to talk about it is making me realize I need to understand more. So I'm going to dig back and read, and I've already said that, but anyway, let's move on. Check deadline. So we'll do check deadline. And that is going to be a bool. And it needs to have double bool. And check deadline equals from deadline slot. Slot. Yeah, we'll do that. Maybe I'll call it S. Call it P and S. Maybe that'll be good. But it's actually not going to be deadline S. It's just going to be from S. From S. We'll say contains tx info valid range info. Cool. I feel like that's all we need. But I do need the to write this stuff in here. Trace if false. Am I just trying to do that? Lars, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I almost have to watch your video. Okay. I didn't take good notes on the assignment. I'm sorry. YouTube.com. I'm just gonna see. This is like a weird meta thing, right? Like I'm watching YouTube while doing a live stream. Your channel. Where is he? Lars. Yes. 3. Okay, okay. This is homework too, I think. Yeah. Yeah, he almost said it there. Uh, how the public hash is calculated. It is pulling pulling information from the validator. I guess I don't understand. I have to. Sorry, I'm gonna. I really need to figure that out. All right. So this doesn't have the same logic as the other one did with the. I don't know why my bit rate's so slow. I feel like I gotta change my password on my Wi-Fi or something. Anyway, uh, so it doesn't have the same logic as homework one, where there's like a deadline and something different happens before and after. Uh, Not in the same way. It doesn't seem as complicated in that sense. Because down here in the wallet, there's not like two different UTXOs happening. So I don't think it needs to get all that complicated in the same way. Let me check. Okay, cool. I felt like I wasn't sending audio through, but I am. Uh, so I think it's pretty much the same as this. Check deadline. We didn't make a custom type here for the homework assignment. This all happened because we made a custom data type. So I don't think we need to do that here. And see, slot, datum, or slot and what's this called? Is that just value? I forget. Um, slot, slot. Yeah, that wants to be a type, not actually what I called it, which is S. So that makes sense. Slot. I feel good about trying to see if this will compile. I don't know if it's doing what he wants, what it needs to do. Oh, okay. Just get rid of that false. It's funny that I missed that. Get rid of you. Yeah, so this is down here. Where is it at? 57. Yeah, this is the stuff that I wasn't sure about, that I don't understand why we're doing it that way. Well, I think I'm done for tonight. I'm going to have to dig into this some more. Have a good evening, and hopefully I can get this figured out tomorrow. All right. Bye.